So I think it's time for me to be vulnerable. Hi. I am not doing an oracle or tarot reading today. We are actually going to be having more of a conversation. I'm going to bare my soul to you about some work that I've been doing within myself. I did not bring bunny ears. I did not bring cards. But I brought some thoughts and a journal entry. And I brought every kind of essential makeup with me except setting powder. So my wife has setting powder, but they're at work in the room. That is where the setting powder is. So we're going to try to do our makeup regardless. We'll see how it turns out. But first, I want to read this journal entry that I worked on yesterday as a result of the day before's therapy session that I had, where for some time now I've been doing some shadow work and addressing self-love without the attachment of the ambiguous them and others and people. I have to sneeze. I guess not, never mind. So there are definitely people in the world who don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks, and I think that's peak, and I may envy it a little bit. The thing is that that when you grow up in like a cult-like environment, I realized as I'm doing my shadow work and addressing some of my blocks and hang-ups, I recognized that I talk a lot about them and others and people, and it's this kind of sweeping excuse as to why I do the things that I do, or have been the person that I was before. And admittedly, it's the fear of the them that was instilled in me from a collective norm, like a very toxic collective norm. And so I had this startling realization that a lot of my journey for the last 2 years still has the undercurrents of what other people may think about the choices that I make and the ways in which I choose to love myself. And so we're going to just talk about it. I'm going to read this journal entry and do my makeup, and you're more than welcome to sit with me. If any of this resonates with you, I definitely invite you to get a pen and a paper, write some of these questions down in your own words, and just reflect with me, I guess, as we navigate the world together. But this is just me being vulnerable on camera, feeling moved to touch base with you guys and dive into some uncomfortable places in hopes that some deconstruction and rebuilding can occur. So here goes. My journal entry is half a series of questions, and then a bit of a section of power. And then at the end, I actually did have a little list of things that I do still do without thinking of others and what that might mean and what that might be and feel like. So without further ado, here we go. What kind of life does a person live that actually loves themselves or themself with no strings attached? How do they wake up? What do they eat? How do they socialize? What is their sleep schedule like? How do they take care of their mind, body, and soul? What are places they enjoy going? What kind of relationships do they have? What kind of hobbies do they have? I ended with a period instead of a question mark. How do they manage their work-life balance? What kind of shows do they watch? How often do they spend time alone, and what do they do during those times? How do they advocate for themselves? How do they speak to themselves and others? What does their spiritual journey look like? How often do they spend time with the divine, and what all does that entail? How does their voice sound? What do they wear? What kind of vacations do they like to go on? How often do they socialize, and what all does that entail? What kind of physical activities do they engage in? Do they have pets? Do they have plants? How do they exist in their home or habitat? When and how do they replenish themselves? How often are they vocal? How often are they silent? And how do they relate or engage in intimacy? These were all questions I wrote down because behind every question, I recognized and realized that I was still attached to the they, to the them, to the ambiguous others every time I answered the question. Like, my first reaction to every question, when I sat with it long enough, I realized I was thinking about them. It's a lot of fucking questions. A lot of questions that are linked to others, and not necessarily things that I, at this point, have learned to do without thinking about others and what they might think. After that, I said, I'm asking for visions of myself, of these things that are believable and reasonable. And so I think one of the things that I have a blockage about is how believable are these things that I'm going to be shown. I think that when I first started my journey of choosing life, what I struggled with was the believability of the reasons why I'm choosing to be alive. And 11:11 on the clock as I say that. Believability. Not what others might think is a valid reason, not what others believe is the right way to receive insight on that caliber of self-love. But what is it that me and my higher self, my favorite self, what does that look like? Where I can look at that version of me and say, that makes sense. I would be that person. I could see myself that way. The next statement I have here is, I'm also asking for insight into the complete picture of that person, no matter how fantastical it looks and feels. And so my first step, the first step that I want to engage in is believably. What do I look like? What does that first step look like? But then I'm also asking for the unbelievable version of me, the one that I would look at and be like, no fucking way. Wow. And it was 11:12 on the clock and 11:12 on the timer for this video. So it's what does it look like, both believably and borderline unbelievably, fantastically? I said I accept the knowledge and integration of these things, because I'm not going to ask all of these questions of myself and of the divine just to turn on and be like, that's bullshit, and just walk away from it. Like, if I'm asking to receive something, I want to integrate that thing. I declared that radical self-love, unattached, starts now. And I wrote, make me over again. Make me over again. What I realized, though, I sat with all of this for a few hours, actually. I did a minor shamanic journey using indigenous drums. And when I came out of it, I actually had a little list of things that I realized, actually, I'm already doing these things because I love to do it, and it has nothing to do with anyone else. I take walks for myself. I'm not going on walks because it's healthy. I'm not going on walks because I'm trying to stay fit. I'm not trying to, I'm literally, and I'm being completely real, I am not going on walks because it's healthy. I'm going on walks because I just enjoy walking around. I enjoy walking around. And it just so happens that the benefits of walking around are good. Ugh. I love doing cute things with my hair, and then it's just like, my tender-headed ass is like, oh, but it's too tight. Whatever. Makeup. And that was a hard one for me because I do like to do makeup. I love makeup, obviously. But for the majority, actually, of my makeup journey, I was doing it for others. I got into makeup at the time of the internet and influencing, where it was imperative that you did things perfect. It was imperative that it was glam, it was flawless, it was just thorough every step by step. You know, you had to have the best products. You had to have, like, the prettiest brushes and all of these different things. You just had to. And it was competitive. And so even though I was doing makeup because I genuinely was interested and I loved it, and as soon as I turned 18 and I was allowed to touch any eyeshadow, any mascara, anything, I hopped on it. I was like, let's go. But then I started learning from the influencers, you know, in my early 20s, and it was like, oh, I have to do makeup this way. And it has to be perfect. And I have to be able to, like, compete. When I go out, people need to know that I know how to do makeup right. And I hit 30, and now I'm in my 30s, and now I just like doing makeup. And yeah, there are certain things that I do that are right, but I mean, we're about to do makeup without setting powder. And I still enjoy doing it. I'm not gonna not do it because I don't have everything that I need. I'm gonna do makeup because I like it. Vocal stimming was another one. I just like to mimic and make noises with my mouth and my voice. I'm not singing. I'm just making noises. Not sure if that really needs a lot of explanation. Just look up vocal stimming and see. Dancing. Ugh. I do not dance thinking about what I look like, and I love to dance. I think it's more like cultural and genetic, but I love to dance. I love playing with my hair. I'm always like doing things, even if it hurts. I'm always like putting little clips and, dyeing it. And, I've been on my lock journey for about 3 years now. And I love playing with my hair. I've always had like different hair. I've lived so many lives because of my hair. I love to collect nature. So I go, like when I'm on my walks, if I find flower petals on the ground or pretty flowers, like wildflowers that I want to make stuff with, or feathers, eggshells, water, pebbles, love picking up random pieces of nature. I like to clean. I don't always have the spoons to do it, but I don't ever clean thinking, okay, I have to clean because people need to think that I'm clean. Like, no, I don't give a fuck. I just like to do it, and I like to be and feel like things are clean. Napping. I'm a Taurus. Napping is spiritual to me. I love to listen to music, and I'm not thinking about what other people will think when I share my music with others, or like the music that I like to listen to. I don't think about anyone else. I just listen to the music. If I think it's a bop, it's a bop. I like to journal. That one is newer for me. I used to be super into journaling, super into writing. Things happened in my life. In a sense, trust was breached. There were probably great reasons for that, but I'm an adult now, so people aren't going to be going through my journals unless I want them to or give permission to. And so that has been kind of like a healing journey, is getting back into journaling and writing. I love to take pictures of the sky. Every time I see the moon, I'm like, oh my god, girl, you popping that pussy so hard. And I think she deserves to be hyped. The moon is so beautiful all the damn time to me. Sunsets. I have to take pictures of them. And the last thing I wrote here was love Emerald, which is my lizard. She's obviously not here with me. I am actually not with my lizard right now. I am at my other home in a different space and state. So, itchy. This is my journal entry, and like, I invite you to pause the video, go back over these questions, reflect on things if you want to, but this is what I've been sitting with for the last couple of days, and frankly, longer than that. I don't know, I should just keep this open actually for now so I can reference it as I'm doing makeup, but that's what I've been sitting with. The reason why I've been sitting with this is because I really have noticed that I really care a lot, or yeah, I have to say it with my chest. I really care a lot about what people think. I've been having dreams of the church / cult that I was brought up in. Like the literal physical building the literal physical building. Being inside of it. And even when the dream itself isn't, like, bad, it's still alarming. And I had to address the fact that it's alarming because I had experienced a lot of confusion of the self in that environment. I was not raised generationally to care about myself more than the ambiguous other. Unfortunately, like, even in my family, there's so much bragging about being, second, third, fourth, fifth generation Adventist. But then, like, when I stepped back and realized what that meant, I had to keep doing things differently. Because even though it's a flex to people within that community, what it actually sounds like to me now is not a single one of us before you ever thought about you. I was brought into the world to maintain a legacy of self-harm, self-neglect, self-sabotage, self-hatred. I was raised to believe that I am like filthy rags, and everybody in this community matters so much more than I ever could as an individual. Anything that I believe is good for me that doesn't accommodate this collective is seen as evil and selfish and shameful. And like, so then you're a kid and you're just absorbing all of this because that's what you do. As a child, you just absorb everything. And you regurgitate that shit. And you share that belief system with others. Because, like, the powers that be said, that's how you're supposed to operate in the world. I'm in my 30s now. And luckily there's at least a little bit of setting powder on my dirty ass brush, so maybe that can help. But I'm in my 30s now and I'm realizing that thought process. And hey, like, they did the best they could. I actually am not angry necessarily. I don't think a lot of people who perpetuate these things generationally understand the ramifications. I think people are choosing to be asleep because it's comfortable and familiar. I don't know that I believe everything everyone chooses to do is a sinister plot. I do believe that the institutions that are being subscribed to are indeed sinister. And I believe they know what they're doing, but I think down to the individual, I actually would say they probably have no fucking clue. Like, how icky it sounds to be so proud of oppression, of generational oppression. So, what does it look like for me now, with all of that background, with all of that knowing? What does it look like for me to just love myself and live a life where loving myself doesn't have anything at all to do with other people? The ambiguous they. And some, like, seriously, I actually recommend this. If you can name some of the they, I invite you to do that if it doesn't trigger you too much. But I am one of those people that after a while I can't look away. If I see this thing, I can't just move on and look away and, mind my business and just pretend that it's not there. Like, once I really see it, I can't unsee it. I was watching the Star Talk that Neil deGrasse Tyson did with Lawrence Fishburne a while ago, and they talk about the Matrix, of course. And they made it, they talked about Cypher's character, the Judas of this messianic story. And how, even though he knows, he still chose to go back into his body, and he doesn't want to know anything ever again. He doesn't want to remember anything. And for all intents and purposes, it looked easy enough to just be in the Matrix and have dinner with some programs and say, fuck it. Fuck this, fuck that, I would like to unsee this. And it seems like an easy thing to be able to choose to do. Just fuck that. And I've tried to be that person, which is why I'm in my 30s realizing I have a long way to go on my love journey, on my self-love journey, because I do not treat myself the way that I treat so many other people, including random people in my brain that are judging me for not showing up the way I'm supposed to. Supposed to. Huh. So, I've been thinking about that a lot. And yesterday's journal entry definitely opened up my brain to a version of reality where that train just stops now. I do a lot for people. I do a lot for people. Frankly, I'm happy to. I actually don't really complain too much about doing for people. I genuinely enjoy loving on people that I love. And it has at times become very diminishing to myself. At times, At times, I genuinely forget myself, forget that I matter just as much, and I see and have seen and do still a lot of the times give everyone stuff that I should be giving myself. I thought it was normal. I thought that was my calling. Even now, I am struggling with the idea of being alive, not because of spite, not because other people want me alive, not because I have things that I need to do, that involve, like, this future where I'm helping the world. Like, I am still grasping at the idea of being alive simply because, like, I am, so why should I stop doing it? Simply because I am here already, and I get to do that. Everybody else gets to do it, so I get to do it. Wild thought to me. I'm a work in progress. We are all works in progress, if we want to be. If we want to be. You can choose, I can choose to cipher it up and eat my fake steak and betray myself and others that you see, and I'm already thinking about others again. It's bad, but I could do it, right? I could do that, not give a fuck, move on with my life. I don't think that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I think there's, like, a balance, actually. I don't have to be alive because I'm supposed to be some kind of, like, savior or help mate to the world. I don't have to be alive because it pisses other people off. It's a good place to start if you can't think of anything else. Like, be here for whatever reason you need to be here for. But stay here. Staying here, I'm realizing, has to evolve past that. I am actually using my wife's BH Cosmetics palette right now. We have not seen this one before because it is in another state. So I am playing with the Sun, probably Jupiter, Prometheus, Aphrodite, Milky Way, and Cosmic. I'm going to try to stay in the pinks and purples today. Anyway. So yeah, that's been heavy on my noggin. Why the fuck am I here? And why do I have to be here for any other reason than because I'm already here and I deserve to be happy while I am here? And what kind of life is that person living? No strings attached, just I breathe in and out. Because I do. The end. And this is how I live because of that reason. Like, thinking about it even now feels so selfish. Got a lot of work to do. I even struggle in relationships. I struggle with the feeling of the need to be useful. Like, I have to be of some sort of use in a relationship. And that has gotten me in so much fucking trouble. So much fucking trouble. Like, you know how much fucking predators of all kinds, social predators, love people like that are just like, I'll do anything for you so that you stay in my life. I'll like, Bro, I was in a relationship with someone who literally had me doing their job while they laid in bed scrolling on social media, paid me to do it, and I'm also taking care of them in and out of doctors' offices and hospitals. I'm sick to my stomach, and I'm still scrubbing on my hands and knees floors and showers and cleaning up dirty ass toe gook of food. Like, I'm cleaning, I'm literally taking care of a big ass toddler while I am needing to be hospitalized, and I'm doing their job, and I'm making what, $200 a month off that, doing their job. And I believed I needed to because I couldn't contribute, you know. I felt like I had to trad wife it up to feel worthy of being in that relationship. And, like, people will let you do it. They will literally look at you and be like, oh, it's, you know, that's cool with me. Like, I'm happy to watch you suffer on my behalf. I'm happy to, you know, I'm happy for you to take care of me and neglect yourself in the process. Like, people are fucking cool with that. Like, they good with it. They can make that bed and lie in it, bro. And if you're anything like me, you think, yeah, well, that's what I have to do in order to make up for it. To make up for breathing in and out in your presence without proper contribution. Bro, it bad. Like, thank God I'm in therapy, and my therapist was like, don't ever do that shit again. I really believed and still struggle with the belief that my value and the reason why I am allowed to be here hinges on my usefulness and my ability to just acknowledge that other people, they matter so much in comparison. So, like, as much as I want to be angry about being taken advantage of, I can also see how I was brought up to believe that that was okay, and so at that point, like, it was just me betraying myself, right? I was the one who said, at the end of the day, that yes, I believe that that is still true. I believe that I love myself enough to stay alive, but I don't love myself enough to demand respect, basic human decency, care. That's how true it is, all within my eye. Like, I still, after all the work I had already done, I still believed that I was here on this planet to just elevate everyone else but myself. Sorry, y'all. There was this eyelash. I got it. I don't know if you can see that. Probably can't. I don't know. Ugh. Camera. Yeah, that bitch. That little bitch, that dark piece right there on my finger. That shit was just riding around in my eye. But yeah. Yeah, right? Like, so I'm saying all of this to say, like, where do we start? And honestly, the answer was in there. I have to start by acknowledging that I'm allowed to be alive simply because I am already alive. And I already do live in certain areas of my life, the dancing, the makeup, vocal stimming, walking. I'm already living as though it matters that I should live. And so I just need to find whatever it was about those things that I'm already doing, find out what it is, that formula, whatever that is, that makes me think, I like this, don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I want to find that and apply that blueprint knowledge, that impulse, and I want to apply it to the parts of me that I still struggle with. And that was just kind of the point of that journal entry, was like, I need to deconstruct some shit and show up for myself in ways that are radical. Showing up for myself radically. What does that look like? Showing up for myself radically. What does it look like to wake up and do all of life simply because I exist and I'm allowed to exist and it's enjoyable to exist? It's crazy because, like, seriously, I bet, like, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, or just like, just live. Like, why the fuck do you care? Like, fuck everybody's thoughts and opinions of you. Like, bro. I'm so glad that you are so blessed that you don't have to unpack this kind of shit, because it is, like, it confuses even me for what it's worth. Like, that's why we're here right now with me just bearing my soul about my religious trauma. It's just a very real piece of life. I do, of course, know that I'm not alone, though. So, for those of you who are like, bruh, like, don't know where to start, just start with some questions. Start asking yourself questions. Don't be afraid to look at it. Don't be afraid to look. And it's easier said than done. I do know that. Like, it's not easy to see that shit. It's not easy to acknowledge that your childhood was abuse in very many different ways. That, like, a whole system was built with the hope that you would not wake up and realize that you matter. It's not easy to look at that. But I promise you, after sitting with the discomfort, you will have an answer. You will get an answer. This little mirror is doing its best. And I, too, am doing my best with this little mirror and the lighting that I have. It's not like I'm going anywhere, by the way. Like, I'm just gonna be around. Like, shit, I may not even... I may stay in the house all day like this, so, like, this is what I mean, though. Like, what about this makeup that I'm doing makes me feel like I don't care if I step out of the house and go to Walmart and someone's like, damn, your purple glitter eyeliner is lopsided and you didn't set your face, and I can tell. Like, what about makeup makes me not give a fuck? My love of doing this, what about it has me in a place where I actually don't give a fuck? Like, these are the weird ass questions I'm having about myself and my journey. Weird? Not really. Like, why do I feel like I'm not allowed to make decisions for myself without running it by some ambiguous collective, but I can do my makeup and not give a fuck what anyone thinks? Unpacking the bullshit. Right? I do seriously encourage you to just ask yourself the fucking weird, hard questions. I encourage you to sit uncomfortably with the fact that, yeah, you were influenced. For me, it was just, I didn't stand a fucking chance. I was talking about this earlier. I didn't fucking stand a chance. Like, my family's over here talking this 3rd, 4th, 5th generation Adventist and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like, I was born with this preset of not giving a fuck about myself and what I wanted and what I felt led to and what I desired and what I cared about. My own comfort, even as a child, was negotiable. If I didn't want to talk to anyone, I didn't get to make that choice. If I didn't want to, go to these different, religious classes, I didn't get that choice. If I didn't want to stay up all night helping people with weddings or, printing out pamphlets for meetings, or, if I didn't want to come, like, rushing back from my lunch break, if I didn't, I didn't stand a chance. And the world literally operates off of beings like that who are just like, you're right, why the fuck would I think that I have, anything special about me that would warrant setting a boundary or wanting something different or better for myself? Weird. Weirdo ass energy. I wasn't allowed to just have a relationship with the divine on my terms. I had to talk to God in such specific ways. Even. Like, you sometimes have to sit and acknowledge the fact that you just did not fucking stand a chance. There was just no fucking way that you were going to have a say in any of it. Ever. I struggle because I've been a victim a lot. My body has just been run the fuck through in so many ways. The entitlement people have of just my body itself. with my time, with my presence, the entitlement that people have. I mean, like, we're in a country where it's so negotiable that a human being gets to just live without being snatched out of their home and away from their children. Like, that's negotiable. People think that you get to negotiate your fucking body with them and what you choose to do with it. Like, that's where we're at, bruh. Like, I'm not the only one. Shit, I'm pretty privileged. Like, not only am I not the only one, but I am still in a pretty safe space. You know, like, I can leave a relationship that doesn't honor and respect me. I'm not talking about my husband, by the way. I'm talking about my ex-husband. What does it look like to do it being life, whether they like it or not? Maybe you could start there. I am needing to start with, who the fuck are they in the first place? Who the fuck are they? And literally, who are they? Like, seriously. I probably need to sit down and write down a list of names, institutions, companies, and actually just sit there and be like, okay, these are the people, these are the voices in my head. Give them a fucking name. Drag them out of the darkness and give them a fucking name. Sit with that. Like, sit with the idea that you can answer that question. Who are they? Well, it was my dad. It was, for me, my church. You know, like the church and religion I was raised in. A religion that eventually ended up having literally birthing a David Koresh. Like, how does a cult make a smaller cult? Like, you're already fucked up, but not fucked up enough for a cult leader, you know? Oh, there we go. That's pink as fuck. I'm loving the sunburnt blush looks, by the way. It's like on the nose. Oh, I'll show you this blush kit, because I think everything else that I've used so far you're familiar with. I've used it before, but this blush kit is, it's a Bare Beauty Giordano's Colors face powder. Like, this probably doesn't even exist anymore, but I used the bronzer and the blush in this kit. And a little bit of the highlighter, too, actually. But yeah. The challenge really is, like, sitting with the reality that you are affected. It did suck. Something is responsible for why you're not too sure how to live. I'm talking to myself. Something is responsible for the reason why you're not sure how to live without thinking about what that means or what that may feel like or what other people may do with that information. I'm going to use this NYX Epic Wear waterproof white liquid eyeliner now. Don't know if I've used it before, but I like doing random dots on my face. Where do I want to put these dots? Yeah. Little dots. Love dots. And a little dot in the middle there too. And imperfect little dots. It's heavy for me to sit in it. I don't know about you, but for me it's a bit heavy. I'm gonna go with Anastasia Beverly Hills Raisin Lip Liner. Yeah, I don't have any solutions. I think that's kind of the whole point of this video is like, I don't have a solution. I just found out yesterday that I'm like this, that I'm sitting there thinking about, I mean, literally, I'm sitting here thinking about the fact that when other people ask me what my relationship to God is like, I think about what a good answer is to them. When people ask me what my dietary patterns are, I'm thinking about what's an appropriate answer to them. How do I socialize? What's a good answer to them? But I notice I'm not even thinking about them when a good song hits the radio at the grocery store and I just start wiggling around. Not thinking about them at that point. I'm just loving a song. I feel like there weren't enough white dots. Let's see. Little imperfect dots. So, yeah, I don't really have a solution for you. I don't have a solution for myself either. I'm going with this Kermit the Frog lip glitter gloss I got from Hot Topic. It was actually a gift, like a gag gift for my wife, but it literally hurts their lips so they don't use it. So I took it back. I got dog hair everywhere. Oh, there's an adorable husky around here. Oh. Let me see if I can capture this dog right now. This is a sidebar. This is just super sidebar. Let me see if I can show you the dog that was attached to the dog hair in my lip without spilling things. So fucking funny. Hold up. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Do you see her legs spread? Just, I don't think you can, like, see, but that's her vibe right now. Her name is Genesis, and that is her vibe. Oh, that was so funny. But yes, there's dog hair fluffing around, and that's okay. I don't know if this is any help to you, but it was helpful for me to kind of get it off my chest, process without judgment the fact that, yeah, I have a lot of work to do. I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still healing. And that's okay. Because you're not really supposed to stop growing anyway. I noticed it, and the reason why I started doing this work and started journaling is because I noticed that even when I was doing, goddess baths is what I call them, and egg cleanses for protection, I was thinking about the why, a person, a group of people, playing off my top, sending bad energy and dark hexing magic my way, and I have to purge and do all these things, but oh my god, what if I just did it because I deserve to be pampered and cleanly and energetically reboosted and rejuvenated simply because I am a goddess, and that's what goddesses do. That thought hit me like a ton of bricks the other day, and I was like, well, what else do I need to recalibrate? What else is in there that I'm doing that needs to be addressed and refocused? And then I found out a list of things, and I wanted to share them with you. We're going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep choosing to live. I'm going to keep finding new ways to make living worth it to me. And I hope you do too. I hope you do too. I think that's it. Here we are. Just glitter, shimmer, dots, fairy, pink. The mascara I used was my plum one on both top and bottom. My Sky High Sensational plum. Because, again, purples, I was doing pinks. I think that's it. I think that's all I really wanted to share with you. Just bearing my soul here, processing out loud about life and living. I hope that if it did resonate with you, that you take a look and keep digging up and excavating more things to work on so that you can keep living your favorite life, the life of your dreams. And that's it. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.